Okay, solving rational equations day 2. So this time we're just taking it a step further. A little bit harder, not much though. Okay? So we need to solve this. And we have this 1 in there. I'm just going to rewrite that so it's 1 over 1. So that everything's a fraction and it makes it a little bit easier for us. Okay? So everything's factored already. So we're just going to look at our denominators. We're going to find the least common denominator. We have n minus 1, we have 1, and we have n minus 1 again. 1 goes into n minus 1. So our least common denominator is n minus 1. Every time you state the least common denominator, you have to state restrictions. So you have n minus 1 cannot equal 0. Add that 1 over, so that means n cannot equal 1. We're done with the restriction. So now I'm going to take my least common denominator, I'm going to multiply it to each fraction because I need to clear the denominators. So I have n minus 1 times that first one, n minus 1 times 1, and n minus 1 times the last one. And again, I'm just going to write these over 1 so it's easier to see stuff that cancels. That first one, the n minus 1s are gone. Second one, nothing cancels. Third one, the n minus 1s are gone again. So I'm left with 5 equals n minus 1 times 1 plus 1, which is 5 equals n minus 1 plus 1. Negative 1 plus 1 is 0, so you get 5 equals n. So n equals 5, which is not 0 because you just have to go back and double check that restriction. So n equals 5 is my final answer there. Okay? Let's look at this one. So we have 6 over v squared minus 6 plus 1 over v minus 6 equals 1 over v squared minus 6v. I didn't say that in the first fraction, but it was v squared minus 6v. So first I need to factor the denominators. V squared minus 6v, I can factor with a common denominator, or common factor. That's what the word is. So I'm going to divide both of those by v. Same thing with that last fraction. So I'm left with 6 over v times v minus 6 plus 1 over v minus 6 equals 1 over v times v minus 6. Now that everything's factored, I'm going to look at my denominators, find my least common denominator. So v times v minus 6, that has the v minus 6, and it has the v, there's nothing else that it's missing. So my least common denominator there is v and v minus 6. So then I need to state my restrictions. I have v times v minus 6 cannot equal 0, which means v cannot equal 0, and v minus 6 cannot equal 0. So v cannot equal 0, and it cannot equal positive 6. Okay? Now, I stated my restrictions. I'm going to multiply everything by the common denominator. And I'm just going to write those over 1 so it's easy to see stuff that cancels. That first one, those v's will cancel, and the v minus 6's will cancel. Second one, the v minus 6's will cancel. Third one, everything will cancel. So the v's cancel, and the v minus 6's cancel. So I'm left with 6 plus v times 1 equals 1, which is 6 plus v equals 1. Subtract the 6 over, you get v equals negative 5. Negative 5 is not 0 and it's not 6, so that's our final answer there. Okay? Let's look at this last one. So again, first things first, I always need to factor the denominator. So I'm going to factor the b squared minus 9b plus 20. So I have to see what multiplies to be 20 adds to be negative 9. That's negative 4 and negative 5. So those factor down to b minus 5 and b minus 4. Then I need to find my common denominator. So I have b minus 4, b minus 4 and b minus 5, and then b minus 4 and b minus 5. So b minus 4 times b minus 5 is my common denominator. Then I need to state restrictions. So I have b minus 4 cannot equal 0 and b minus 5 cannot equal 0. So then b cannot equal positive 4 or positive 5. Okay, I stated my restrictions. Now I'm going to go multiply everything by the least common denominator. And I'm going to put those over 1 so it's easy to tell. In that first one, the b minus 4's cancel. Second one, everything cancels, so the b minus 4 cancel, b minus 5 cancel. Same with that last one, everything cancels there. So I'm left with b minus 5 times 1 plus 1 equals 4. which is b minus 5 plus 1 equals 4, which is b minus 4 equals 4. Add the 4 over, b equals 8, which is not 4 or 5, so that's our final answer. Okay, so the only difference between this one and last time is that this time we're factoring our denominators first, and our denominators are not always just the biggest one. Okay, so you just have to factor them first, find the least common denominator, state your restrictions, and then multiply it out. Okay, and cancel common things. Remember to take the quiz. I will see you guys tomorrow.